check it out. We look at our old pal Gearus over here. Oh yeah, and I figured this would be the best place to go with Cetrion to training mode. Every character that I've played, I've tried to give them like their own training stage, you know what I mean? Like Scarlet is in the Fire Garden. I thought Collector would be good in the Wuxi Dragon Grotto because there's treasure all over the place. And it seemed like this would be a good place for Cetrion, right? Since there's, you know, leaves and stuff. I don't know. I didn't really think it through that much, but since she's like supposed to be a god of life and nature, I thought the most naturalistic stage in the game would be a place she would like to hang out. The god of foliage. I really don't know what Cetrion is supposed to be. It makes very little sense how she's presented in the story. Honestly, I feel like NetherRealm just doesn't have the writing ability to create like a god character, because she really doesn't make sense, right? She's an elder god, sure. But what does that mean? As a society, we have so many conceptions of what a god is supposed to be like. Sometimes she makes references to herself as if she's like a biblical god. Like when she says, I work in mysterious ways to Sub-Zero. Remember that? And Sub-Zero is like, I asked a simple question. But Cetrion is obviously not omnipotent or omniscient. So she's not like that, right? So maybe she's like a Greek god? And it seems like that's kind of what they want the Elder Gods to be. But that doesn't really fit either, because like she gets beat up by frickin' Jackie Briggs, you know? And she dies, spoiler alert, at the end of the story mode. So she's clearly not immortal. She just seems like, I don't know, like a really powerful human, pretty much. Which is also another interpretation of gods sometimes, that they're just like extra powerful mortals. But it doesn't seem like she's mortal, or it doesn't seem like she's supposed to be mortal. Yeah, I don't really understand Cetrion. Like, what is she? You see what I mean? What's she supposed to be? And that goes for all the Elder Gods, right? Like, what are the Elder Gods supposed to be? Raiden seems to talk to them as if they are all-knowing, you know, like gods. But clearly they aren't, since they never do anything and get killed multiple times. There are multiple Mortal Kombat games where Raiden shows up to consult with the Elder Gods and they're just dead. They're just dead. They died off screen. They were all killed. And they weren't killed by other Elder Gods. They were killed by frickin' Quan Chi, who's definitely just a guy. And Raiden is another thing. He's also a god. Apparently the god of thunder. But what is that supposed to mean? Does he control all thunder? All lightning in the world? Does lightning always strike because of him? That doesn't seem right. Like, Zeus is the god of thunder in Greek mythology, and that means that thunder is like his job, right? That every time it rains or lightning strikes, that was directly his doing, you know what I mean? But that doesn't seem to be what Raiden's all about. Raiden honestly just seems like a guy with lightning powers. He seems to be immortal, but he also is definitely killable. And not killable by other gods, killable by mortals, right? Shao Kahn kills him in the beginning of MK9 / the end of Armageddon. And maybe you can say, well, it doesn't really matter. They're just, like, there are plenty of mythologies where the gods are, like, vague. You know what I mean? Like, even in the Greek mythologies, it's pretty vague what exactly the gods, like, do. You know what I mean? And that's okay, because they're more like concepts, right? They're like symbolic. You don't really have to worry about like their power level and like their specific list of powers and like, can they do this? Can they do this? You know, that's not really important, right? in the Greek mythology. So they could have done that with like Chronica and Raiden and stuff, but they didn't really. Because again, I don't think NetherRealm quite has the chops to create characters like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible to do characters like that, but not in Mortal Kombat. We're not exactly looking at, you know, Game Awards winning writing over here, are we?